You are watching the number one podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of our hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
And together we are...
Roque.
And welcome to the first night that opens the WrestleMania week. NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. Night one. The first night of this two extravaganza thing from NXT. I think a lot of good matches, wrong winners. But we're going to be talking about everything. You know, like we have a lot of new champions also. So this show is like, did it set the tone for you for what is going to be this WrestleMania week or no?
Well, I mean, you did say that this is the first WrestleMania or first show of the WrestleMania week. It's easy. You know, I don't blame you for forgetting about Monday Night Raw, but I guess technically that would be the first. But, you know, it's easy to forget about that. Probably the worst go-home show in WrestleMania history. Yeah. But, I mean, this show was, if it set the tone for night two, I'm a little scared. You said it perfectly. Great matches, but really head-scratching winners. I mean, in some of them. Now, the main event, we all predicted that was the right winner, but, you know, everything else we saw, or at least most of the matches we saw, either it was a great match and an awful winner, or the right winner and an awful match. So.
Yep. Yeah, it's true, absolutely. So you mentioned Monday Night Raw review right there. Is right with Jean-Paul's own, like with the worst, you know, pretty much like the worst go-home show for WrestleMania, like you said. Nothing really of importance, like the build-up for all this pay-per-view hasn't felt like WrestleMania per se. So like you're right there, check it out. Lashley McIntyre ready to square off. You know, not a bad match with Baron Corbin. But I think that, you know, this match doesn't even feel special. A lot of the matches of WrestleMania don't feel like they should. But no, don't miss the review with Jean-Paul. So, like, let's start this, like, NXT Takeover Stand and Delivery. They had a pre-show, like, an hour, and also they gave us a match. And we got to see Zoe Starks with Toni Storm. This was absolutely great, just because Zoe Starks, remember what we've been saying week by week. Week by week, we've been saying Zoe Starks, like, is showing that she's a great athlete, and even the creative of WWE NXT, let's say, they're actually putting her over a lot. Like, this girl, like, has had one of the best debuts, you know, from, like, not being, you know, popular or like Taya Valkyrie. She's had, like, really great matches with, like, a lot of, like, big names, and now this is the case of Toni Storm. This is what opened up NXT Takeover Stand Delivery. What did you think of this?
Well, I'm going to think exactly what you thought, because you want to know when I turned on, NXT at 8 o'clock on the dot. So I did not see this match, but I would, you know, this is one, maybe I would go back and watch, because I'm a fan of Zoe Starks. I agree with what you said. The build is like organic. She was kind of put in not in the main event scene, but with the main event players right off the bat, and she showed that she could hang. So a match with Toni Storm, I can imagine it was good. But, you know, take me through it like you're going to take the Rope Break family through it.
Oh, yeah, no, like this match, like you said, like Toni dominated at the beginning, showing that, like, she was the boss, calling the match. But then Zoe, like, every time that she was put in, like, a big spot, like, she delivered, you know, like, go toe-to-toe with Toni Storm. Mickey James was on commentary also. So she was putting over, like, Zoe Stark. She said, like, I haven't seen a lot of her matches, but, like, she has a lot of potential. Like, she's doing really great. She's not, you know, not going again, not missing a step with Toni Storm, so that was really good. Toni went back to, like, you know, like the look that we actually know her for. So that was also really good. And then Toni, like, also being a heel, trying to, like, do some heelish tactics to win the match. This match actually had a lot of time. And that's something really cool that, like, to see for Zoe Starks and also for Toni Storm, especially being on the pre-show. You know that, like, a lot of people don't think that that's the part of the main show. But
yeah, and a lot of people were probably like me and didn't even think there was going to be a match on the pre-show.
Yeah, you know, like, it's, you know, and they had it on Peacock, so that's why. Yeah. You know, like, they always add this kind of things, you know, and, like, I just happened to, like, just had it there, so I was able to catch it. So that was, like, you know, a matter of luck. But, like, Toni Storm was going for Storm Zero. And, you know, Zoe Starks just counters that, and then she does a roll-up, and Zoe Starks actually gets the win, the upset in, like, one of her most important wins in her career, because she defeated Toni Storm. So Zoe Starks has, like, the potential of being, like, a, you know, breakthrough, like, superstar. Maybe, you know, Raquel Gonzalez, they had a match already with her, Io Shirai, so, like, you know, big names have gone through Zoe Starks. But now, what do you do with Toni Storm? You know, like, she's heel. The whole heel turn has not really worked out for her. She got the match, you know, the Takeover Vengeance. She got, like, a few matches for the championship. You know, wasn't successful in either one of them. So we'll see what happens with Toni Storm. Maybe, like, a main roster call-up, or maybe she goes back to the UK. But I don't know what's going to happen because, you know, Raquel, heel, and now Toni's also heel. So we'll see what happens on that. But your quick thoughts on this. Finally,
I would have rather have seen Tony win, maybe cheating, maybe holding the tights, maybe using the ropes or something, and give us a program. Give us a few matches. Zoe could have been Tony. You're bullshit. Called her out. We get a match. We get a couple weeks of a feud, and then Zoe. Maybe you put her over in the end. To put a babyface over in a first match, there's no feud.
Yeah,
it's done. So, and this would have been a good program. Unfortunately, we're not going to see that. But I mean, that's NXT. That's NXT for you.
That's exactly. So, like, the show NXT finally opened up. Nita Strauss was there. Like, she played the national anthem. And then we got to see this was the match that opened the show. And this is Kushida and Pete Dunne. Both wrestlers going against the title of being the best technical wrestler in the world, or at least on NXT. So, like you said, this match was absolutely really great. Both guys gave us all. I feel that, like, that title is very important for both of these guys. Pete Dunne, training since was 12 years old. We know that, like, the potential. We know, like, the kind of athlete he is. Kushida, on the other hand, big star in Japan, one of the biggest signings of NXT history, going for that title. And, like, they were saying in the pre-show also, like, who needs it more? So tell me in your own thoughts, like, who needed more this match, Kushida or Dunne?
Oh, Kushida, because Pete Dunne, 400 some day title reign, UK champ, he was tag champ, the guy has done it. He's proven himself. He's a young guy still. I'm not saying Kushida's over the hill and he's old or anything, but Kushida, it's so many missed opportunities for him. Now, obviously, it's booked, it's predetermined, it's not his fault, but it's like, in the world, it's like he keeps, missing out on title opportunities, all this stuff. This would have been a big win here. Then maybe he could have went against Jordan Devlin or Santos, whoever wins the match, tomorrow. It could have been something like that. Instead, Pete Dunne won, but this was still a great match. I just don't like the winner, but they started off technical. Let's see who's the best technical wrestler. Eventually, the guys, you get pissed, you get fired up, turns more into a brawl. But I just love, that where Pete Dunne had him kind of in like the octopus like hold, and then Kushida reversed it, and then Pete Dunne reversed it back, and just I love like that kind of stuff, like that British style. Almost reminds you like a William Regal, all that, like the counters and the technical wrestling. This was good. And Kushida, like, he really needed to win this. And I thought there was a couple times that he was going to win it. But unfortunately, I don't know what they're going to do with Pete Dunne. Because like you said, we already saw the program with him and Balor. Is it going to be him versus, Johnny Gargano or Bronson Reed or, whoever wins that match? Spoiler, because, I don't really see that being a match because he's heel.
Yeah.
So, exactly. I mean, I really don't know where they're going with this with Pete Dunne. But it's just a shame for Kushida because, like you said, one of the biggest signings, and then that's how you treat him. But don't worry, we can talk about another big signing who they treat like shit later on. But, this was a good. Despite the ending that I shouldn't even say the ending, just despite the winner of this, it wasn't my pick. This was still a great match.
No, yeah, like winner, like you said, the ending, it was just like rake of the fingers, like always, like Pete Dunne style. Because Kushida was trying to just do like the arm bars, like you said, like he just kept trying to like manipulate that, but it was the bitter end, 1, 2, 3, and then he got the win. Pete Dunne, like you said. And in this kind of situation, I agree with you, just because like Pete Dunne already has more stocks than Kushida, because Kushida is just more like thought as a loser right now, and not because he's not great, but like the only meaningful wins that he's had is just like the Velveteen Dream. Nobody knows where the Velveteen Dream is now. He's gone. And Ciampa. But, in Ciampa, like, really, like, Ciampa, yes, a big name, but, like, has he been relevant up to this night? No. So that's why, like, we
but like they said, unless you're holding gold, these wins don't matter.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Exactly. Unless you win a championship, you could beat everybody on the roster.
And then, for Dunne, it's just like, well, I was already for the NXT Championship, and that didn't happen. So we'll see. But, like, the next match, family, thank you again so very much for being with us. Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, support us. Let us know in your comments what you guys thought of this first night of NXT Takeover and Stand and Deliver. So it was the gauntlet match, and like you said, this was okay. But, like, the winners, again, not make a lot of sense, and it bothered me. At least, Leon Ruff went off first. So that was at least the only thing that makes sense about this match.
Yeah, and I mean, just, Swerve Scott and Leon Ruff started this thing, and of course, they still hate each other, brawling on the outside, all this bullshit, and just, the fact that these guys sell for Leon Ruff still annoys me. I'm going to keep saying it every time. I won't get over it. You can't make me. I don't like it, but, it is what it is, and they always call him Spider-Man. I'm like, please don't disrespect Spider-Man by comparing him to Leon Ruff, but...
At least call him Ricochet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just... Right? Yeah, Ricochet, I would rather be called Spider-Man than this guy. But, I mean, like you said, he was the first one to get pinned, and then you thought, okay, now it was anybody's game. At least Leon Ruff wasn't going to be the one to win. We weren't going to see a rematch of that, him and Gargano, thankfully. But, this was really good. And eventually we saw the last guy come out, Eli Drake, or, LA Knight for the NXT people who don't know him outside of this. He comes out, and I love how he just cuts a promo on everybody. He's like, oh, yeah, you're bullshit. And, this is good. And you're like, okay, this is the clear winner. This guy's going to win, and it's going to be great. But unfortunately, no, he didn't. But, I mean, he did have a legit spot where you had Dexter Lumis had the silence on Cameron Grimes, and then he comes in with a jackknife cover. He flips over Lumis, 1, 2, 3. So you see Lumis gets eliminated, and then Eli Drake gets eliminated, boom, right away.
Yep, and
Bronson Reed just, I don't know if he did the tsunami or if he just,
he did senton.
I was going to say, or if he just slipped on a cheeseburger wrapper and fell on top of him. I mean, I don't know what it was, but 1, 2, 3. And then, of course, but Jean Paul, didn't you see where Eli Drake and Dexter Lumis were fighting on the outside? That's going to be the program. I don't care. This guy should have been champion. You bring him in. You keep saying the biggest signing in NXT. Oh, my God, LA Knight. Oh, he's so great. Oh, like this is almost like Bobby Roode level of like, let's represent this guy legit.
I got to agree.
What did you do with Bobby Roode when he came in? NXT champ. What did you do with LA Knight? You jobbed him out twice now.
Already 2 losses, and then remember, you probably love this spot too when like he did like this big like senton on like Rob completely crashing him. Just I wanted to mention that, but like you're right. This bothered me just because also like you said like Knight, like you should be trying to make him like the biggest heel here, and no, and then with Lumis, it's not really a good feud. Nobody benefits from Lumis. That's the one thing. Nobody benefits from. Remember, Cameron Grimes, nothing happened with
Cameron Grimes wasn't elevated. Roderick Strong wasn't elevated. No. The Velveteen Dream, none of these guys being involved with Lumis get elevated.
Austin Theory wasn't elevated by it, like you said. So like we had the 3 last guys. It was Cameron Grimes, Bronson Reed, and also Isaiah Swerve Scott. Swerve Scott got a pretty legit showing. He tried for like that go-home kick like so many times. He did also like a 450 splash on Bronson Reed. Well, and also, he eliminated Cameron Grimes first in the process. But then, he had so much offense on Reed, and you said it the best. If he kicks out, like he's going to win, and that's what happened. Pretty much really quick. He got like the tsunami, and then 1, 2, 3, and pretty much Bronson Reed
and he kept hit. Yeah, it was house call after house call, which is like that super kick or like side kick he does to the head. Yeah, he must have hit like 5 or 6 of them.
Yes.
And the 450. And this doesn't. When I watch this doesn't make me go, oh, Bronson Reed is a badass. It makes me go, man, Isaiah Swerve Scott's offense must be shit.
Yes.
It's like this guy, you're not selling his. It's like Seth Rollins. The stomp was dead in the match against The Fiend. Remember the Hell in a Cell? He did how many stomps? And it was like, done. So this is the same thing. And of course, it's like, he eats all these kicks, all this offense. He eventually just hulks up. He hits the dead eye, and this because he has to copy Hangman Page, and then he does the tsunami. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to see Bronson Reed, Johnny Gargano. A great gauntlet match. The beginning with Ruff and Swerve was a little bullshit. Once it got going, it was good. But then the ending, again, not the right winner. At least for me.
And like we're going to see this. They were like saying, "Oh, this is going to happen on tomorrow." So probably, like we said, Johnny's going to drop it. Johnny's going to drop it, and then Bronson Reed is going to get the championship. And like you said, what do you do with Pete Dunne? Oh, you're going to brawl him, like you're going to put a dispute with like Bronson Reed. So I mean, it does it make sense? Not much. I was rooting, like you said, LA Knight. I was rooting maybe Isaiah Swerve Scott when there was the 2 of them. Scott like deserves like another push. He had like remember that really nice in storyline with Santos Escobar. So I just feel that like he could have been a lot better if you give me
and even though Gargano's still a heel, to me it like LA Knight is an actual heel and Gargano is just bullshit as a heel. So that I wouldn't care if it was heel versus heel because Gargano's such a joke. I don't even consider him a bad guy anyway. So you might so I would have been fine with it, but I guess they wanted to do babyface versus heel. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So like let's move to the next match, and this is like NXT UK Championship on the line. Tommaso Ciampa versus Walter. Here's where Jean Paul is gonna be ready to shoot because first of all, this was tainted. We mentioned this before. This is tainted because no mention of a Rampage Brown and tomorrow NXT UK prelude. So nothing of that. And also, like, why you have to give me a match on Wednesday knowing that he has to defend the championship on Thursday in the world of kayfabe or anything? So, like, I already know that, like, whatever happens here is a little tainted for, I don't really want to watch prelude. because like whatever happens in that, it didn't have any repercussions. Nothing happened here. Walter, like, he looked okay, but like you said, really soft. A really PG version of the rated R Walter that we see on NXT UK. So what did you think of all of this?
I mean, this match, now goes back to what I said earlier, the right winner, but an awful match. You know, the first two matches, great matches, awful winners. This is the opposite. This match, to me, was it was the shits. You had Walter, who should have killed this guy. You know, Ciampa could have gave him a little bit, but, no, it was, Ciampa was dominating most of this match. And the big spot was when they're on the outside, Walter chops the announce desk, completely blows it up. Of course, it was like a gimmick, announce desk, whatever. And then it's like, oh my God. So hopefully they play that up in the match tomorrow with Rampage Brown, because NXT UK will at least reference this. For some reason, NXT doesn't want to reference UK, but UK is legit. So
NXT does the favor, right?
Yeah. So, but I mean, so then the whole thing of the match was, his right hand was hurt, and that's the hand that he lays the legit chops in. So he had to use his left, so it wasn't as strong. But even the chops before that and the power bombs and everything Walter did, it just looks soft. It looks like, remember when Goldberg said, when I, pinned Hogan and did all this stuff, I was real soft with him. I was gentle. That's what like Walter was doing with Ciampa here. It's like, no, beat this guy up. Be legit. And then, of course, then Vic Joseph and all these other corporate goons are like, nobody's ever brought a fight to Walter like this.
Or like
Ilya Dragunov?
Nobody has had so much offense on Walter, like you said, along those lines. So like Ilya Dragunov, like nothing.
To me, that match, like you said, that match is still fresh in our minds. Even though it happened a little while ago, it's still fresh. This match was like a joke compared to that one with Ilya Dragunov. And, then there was a spot where Ciampa kept trying to knock Walter down with clotheslines, and he must have hit the ropes, clothesline, like 12 times. Yes. I even texted you. I said, what am I even watching?
Yes.
This match to me was just bad. I mean, I'm sure some people loved it. I'm sure the Ciampa marks were loving it. But to me, it just, in the whole grand scheme of things and how much it should have made sense, I didn't like it. At least, Walter, he kicked out of the air raid crash. He did an avalanche air raid crash off the top rope. Walter kicked out of that. He didn't hit the Widow's Bell or Widow's whatever he calls it.
Yeah, so. Widow's, he did hit it, and then he kicked out of
that. Okay, yeah, there you go. I was probably so blinded with rage I didn't see it. No, but I mean.
True. It's just true because, like you said, for example, even Karrion Kross had like a quicker match than what Walter did with Ciampa. And, in the big scheme of things, maybe Walter will be a little stronger than Ciampa. And like you said, we got to see a version of Walter, like, really PG. We didn't see intensity, meaning, like...
And you would think after the awful... You would think after the awful Survivor Series showing he was the first one pinned in that match, when Walter was on the Survivor Series. It's, you would think he would want to come here to the American shows and be like, can you present me legit? And the first match, they make him almost lose to a guy who's half his size.
Yeah, no, it's true. And, and also, like, what really bothered me is how it ended, because it was a big power bomb. Poorly executed also, because even the pin was like, he was, like, kind of doubting. And then he just did, like, a clothesline, and then he did a chop, and that was it. So, they didn't really pick up much. It wasn't, like, what I wanted to see. The drama, it wasn't there. So, in the end, he retains. We got to see, like, and sees the big detail. His chest was way more red than Ciampa's, and that's never the case.
I love Walter, but after this match, I want him to drop it to Rampage Brown, because if this is how he's going to be wrestling, and all this stuff, then let him just job to guys on NXT like he almost jobbed to Ciampa. Because
what is the next field for like Walter, like Leon Ruff?
Ruff. Exactly. He'll probably go 15 minutes with Leon Ruff, because he just. Like we said, it's great that he sells for guys in the NXT UK, but at least when he makes his comeback and he wins, he beats the shit out of him. Here, it was like he barely could beat Ciampa, so I didn't like this match at all.
The credibility of it, like you said, is like, we know it's a sport and everything, but he's like, you got to present me the story like is accordingly, not just like, Ciampa because it's Ciampa, like 18-year veteran and all of that. Should have been a lot quicker. And also, I said, if he has Rampage Brown tomorrow, why is he just taking so much time with Ciampa? And we're going to see what the match with Brown is going to be. If this is like, Brown is worse than this, I'm going to blame it to this. I'm going to blame it to this and this poorly executed. I didn't like it, like you said. Walter retains regardless. We're going to see, like, Frankie Monet. Who this is. Taya Valkyrie. They changed her name. I don't know why, because I think she owns the name of Taya Valkyrie. I don't know why they changed her name, but that's who she is. We're going to see her in the
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Or terrorizing, one of them.
That's
but like,
why.
I don't get it. Like, if you own your own name, can you at least, Eli Drake, I own my own name. No, LA Knight. why? You know what I mean? It's just like, to me, like, at least one of the reasons that I respect AJ Styles so much is because when debuted, he was AJ Styles. No LA Knight, no Frankie Monet, no Cien Almas, none of that. AJ Styles. I own my own name. I want to be with my own name. So we're going to see her on Tuesday. That was going to be. So tell me a little bit about this triple threat tag team match for the titles. Pretty good showing for the three teams. But like you said, the team we were rooting for, the team that made more sense, did not win. And actually the team that the baby faces, I guess they were trying to be all nice to everybody that loves baby faces. We kind of like the heels a little better. I always say that there's more things, more scenarios that you can do as a heel. So, tell me a little bit about this match.
I mean, this was good. The only thing is just I don't like these triple threat matches when you have two teams fighting and then one team is just non-existent.
Yeah.
I feel like every time I looked away, every time I was looking at this match, there was no Legado. Then it's I look away and then they just appear. It's why can't you have all these guys fighting? Now, I'm not saying be like AEW and all six guys in the ring at once, but, can we see some kind of, legit stuff going on here? It's just, don't even have it be a triple threat match, because that wasn't the story. The story was, the Grizzled Young Veterans and MSK. They just threw Legado in there, I feel, to be like, oh, Santos, hey, you're legit. We'll give your boys, we'll throw them a bone here. It's so I would have rather just seen.
Like you said, three teams that are really athletic, really, really good. And yeah, MSK is the baby faces. Clearly, everybody wanted them to win. Remember the story, my dad. He will be so proud if I win the championship. That we're going to have that match against Birch and all. And unfortunately, one of the members, I think it was Cass, that he broke his arm. Okay, the match gets put on hold. Then and now Birch is the one that has the separated shoulder. Lorcan is upset because of course he misses Takeover. He misses a big payday. Done. So they had to put this together. And I mean, like you said, it was good. The action is right there. Legado and Fantasma always looks good, but like you said, it's time for them. I remember what you said in the review last week. It's boss, we like to protect you, but it's time for us to have our own thing. Let us fight for something besides watch your back. And I agree with that. But in the end, the Grizzled Young Veterans, one more time, they're always there. They're always trying to get those titles, but in the end, every single time, they always fall short.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, it was the story. They built it up too much. The sympathy angle for MSK, they're the baby faces, they're the Dusty Cup winner. They were pretty much just serving these titles to them on a silver platter. Yeah. And if the tag champs didn't get hurt and had to relinquish, it would have been a singles match, one-on-one, singles tag match. Yeah. And MSK would have won. MSK was winning these titles no matter who it was against. They were winning it here at Stand and Deliver. It just was what it was. But it was too predictable for me. And when you're watching it, you're like, okay, they're going to kick out. They're going to be this. And then, when MSK hits their finish, okay, here we go. So it's
and like you said, for example, I was actually waiting for this to be the end of the match with Legado, swerving everybody. That would have been good for me, at least. Finally something different. Give me stuff that is different. And when they kicked out, I was like, okay, then here we go. And like you said, the worst thing even happened because the Gibson was the one pin. So you're bearing more the Grizzled Young Veterans. And you remember we said, they pull Legado El Fantasma so they can hit the pin. In this case, it wasn't what we actually thought. But like you said, boom, MSK gets the win and they get the tag team championships. And now I feel that the feud is still going to be the Grizzled Young Veterans. But it's just going to be not too great because the heels are chasing the baby faces, and it should be the
heels should never chase. That's not a good story. That's not a good program. Nobody can get behind it and care. When a babyface chases, you get behind them, you support them. You want to see them win. Nobody cares about a heel chasing. So
no, yeah, you're right. And but at least the Rascals or MSK, they get the tag team championship, and at least for them, when you just focus on them only, hey, what they were promised to be in the NXT, hey, they have finally accomplished that. They were on Impact. They separated from Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel is still on Impact. They tried to do something different. There you go. They're the tag team champs, and hey, there you go. That's finally the fruit of that. So good for them. So now, family, I think we're enjoying this. Great review from Jean Paul and myself. And the main event, NXT Takeover, Stand and Delivery, NXT Women's Championship, right there. Io Shirai against Raquel Gonzalez. The video packages in the pre-show were really good. Even Samoa Joe interview, every single one interview. Ciampa, Walter, Io, Raquel, and Raquel came out. She was really confident. It's I got it. I know what I need to do to beat her. There's nothing that she can do to hurt me. He's like, I know her offense, I know her strategy, I know her game plan. I have my own, and in the end, I'm going to be the new champion. Io more, political. Hey, I have to represent the women's division. I've been in everybody. She's the last one in my list. After this, I'm good. I'm done. I'm the best one of all. I'm the best in the world. We'll see what happens, she said. I'm going to do my best. But, give me your thoughts on this match. I really liked it. And, I think that both girls gave us what we wanted. And in the end, we both predicted that this was going to be the outcome.
Yeah, we knew this was going to be the winner. And the match itself was pretty good. Of course, Dakota Kai had to be out there. At least she got involved pretty early on, and then she got sent to the back. It wasn't like it was a constant that she's getting involved and the ref is just blind to it, and it's like,
my God. That will tarnish it, right? That will tarnish. That will look stupid.
Yeah, exactly. So it was good that she got sent out of there so Raquel could get a nice, clean win. But just the spots where Io has to climb up on the highest thing in the arena and jump off it. It's like, to me, it was kind of cool when she did that in your house. Yeah. And then we keep seeing it. Oh, yeah, when she jumped off the support beam onto, who was it? Mercedes and Tony, and then jumped here off the skull and
remember
everything.
When she had the trash can.
Exactly. It's like doing all this stuff. It's like, okay, what do we always say? When you overexpose something or you keep doing something, it doesn't. Yeah, you overdo it. It doesn't feel legit. So when she did this, I was like, okay, what happens if she would have jumped off and one of them would have really got hurt? Would it have been worth it? No. Yeah. Because nobody's going to remember her jumping off the skull in 3 weeks from now anyway.
No, it's true. It's true. It's true.
But then she rolled her back in the ring.
The less significant it is.
Exactly. So, and then she hit the over the moonsault. Just call it a moonsault, please. She hits the moonsault and Raquel kicks out. That was good. I was like, okay. But to me, when she kicked out of the moonsault, that pretty much solidified it. Okay, Raquel's gonna win here. So but this was still pretty good. It did what it needed to do. It got Raquel over. It got her the women's championship. And
I like that, Paul. I like that. Sorry that I'm interrupting you. No. I like the fact that they are a lot of people, Theo Man, Io. A lot of people are using the crossface. That's really cool. That's I think it's a subtle way of paying homage to who. So that was cool. And like you said, when they did this, remember, no one has ever kicked out of this. So when they introduced that line, just remember Mr. Perfect with Bret Hart. No one has ever kicked out the Perfect Plex. What happened? There's a title switch. So So right there, and the choke slam, the one arm power bomb, or choke slam. To me, it's a choke slam. They call it a power bomb.
Yeah, it's a choke slam.
1, 2, 3, and then we have a brand new champion in Raquel Gonzalez. We mentioned this, so for you it was predictable. For me, it was predictable. Everybody, in the sources were saying that there's going to be a title switch. It was good for Io. She had her good run, right? She beat everybody, and then fall to Rio.
Don't be surprised if now after this Io gets called up, and maybe Io as a babyface, her first feud is with maybe a heel champion, Rhea Ripley. But, Rhea will just beat her, so it's like, so much for your first feud. Or she'll get tag teamed with Asuka, and it'll be Kabuki Warriors 2.0. But,
and then Paige comes out.
Exactly. But, I mean, the one thing, though, in the world of kayfabe, man, doesn't Io Shirai look like an idiot. For being, Raquel, I want to challenge you.
Yes.
Instead of having Raquel earn that opportunity, you challenge, you say, I want to fight you, and then you lose to him. Why not let Regal or somebody pick your opponent?
No, it's true. So, it's true. I mean, especially like you said, when the whole story was telling us that there was going to be a title switch. Because if you think about it, remember, you mentioned that point. That's the first point. Second point, remember the go-home show. She got the upper hand. What did we say? Every time there's an upper, you get the upper hand in the go-home show, in the pay-per-view, you're going to lose the title. So everything was pointing to Raquel Gonzalez to win this championship, but I think it's the right build, at least for her. Remember, with Dakota Kai, the match with Rhea Ripley.
Because when she did hit the moonsault, I actually did think, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't think she was going to actually hit the moonsault. So I'm like, maybe they're not going to put the title on Raquel. But then when she kicked out, I'm like, okay, they're going to put the title on her.
Oh no, yeah, exactly. And the best, and remember, something that we've been saying is the whole build that she's been doing. Remember, everything started, and you said it. Remember, in when she beat her up for the title, when she beat her up in the War Games, that's when everything started. Remember, Io completed chokeslam. So right now, we knew that this was going to be the appointed one. We know she was going to get that title. And I think that it's good because it's a heel. Remember, she can do whatever she wants, heelish tactics to keep that championship. She has the Dakota Kai, and you already mentioned also, you said, hey, that is going to be the friction point between the two. It's like, you did what I always wanted to do. So you're gonna give me my shot, or like what's gonna happen? So this is gonna be also the breakup for this team, and then maybe Dakota Kai will be babyface now.
Yeah, or I mean, maybe they'll even do like a Shawn and Diesel. Oh, okay, let's be the tag champs again, and actually hold them maybe for longer than 10 minutes. Something like that, and then they'll both have the belts. But I could easily see the split happening here, or with what we saw in the pre-show. Zoe Stark, she has some good wins. Get her a couple more wins. That would be a good first, championship defense, because she already had the match with Raquel. There's a little bit of history there, so then you can do it. Obviously, Raquel should win. I wouldn't say give it to Zoe Starks, at least not now. But that would be a good first defense for Raquel. But I think this is good, and this is kind of just like, hey, they took Rhea away from us, so this is like, Rhea 2.0. This is like our different version of Rhea.
Yes, in a way it is. I can absolutely see what you're saying when I see the picture and everything. But at least it's not pushed down my throat. At least I don't have that that goggle right here. Like I don't have like this pressure right here in my throat. Like say no, like Rhea.
Mm-hmm. Like what we always used to call her, Rhea Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, exactly. Like feel it's like okay, we knew, and also like one thing that you've been mentioning throughout this review. It makes sense because the woman is how tall instead of Shirai. So we knew like Shirai hits her best move is not as impactful because she's way taller and also way more built. So when she hits her own move, it's going to be more devastating to Shirai.
Yes.
So family, this is the review for NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver in Night 1. Tomorrow, Night 2, Balor. We're going to have Santos Escobar, the ladder match. Unsanctioned Adam Cole with also Kyle O'Reilly. A lot of good stuff that is going to be, I think it's going to be a little bit of a better night. I think this was good, but like next one is going to be like the main event. And we're excited about this. So, don't forget to please subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. And also don't forget tomorrow is going to be NXT UK Prelude, but we will do the review on Friday. Okay, because we're going to have to do NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver Night 2. So like on Friday, we'll be talking about Rampage Brown and Walter, Noam Dar against Tyler Bate, all of that. Kaylee Ray, they're like teaming up with Isla Dawn against Meiko Satomura and also Leah McAllister, all of them. So we're going to be talking about all of that Friday. So family, jump on, remind everybody where they can find us.
And make sure you follow us, Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the number one podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
So tomorrow we'll see each other again. Night 2, NXT Takeover Stand and Delivery. You and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...